Hello, my name's Claudette. I'm an ambassador for the Julian Campbell Foundation. I wanted to come on here today to tell you a little bit about my story and what inspired me to become an ambassador for Julian Campbell. Julian Campbell, who sadly took his life due to bipolar, was the brother of the founder of the foundation, and it's an area very close to my heart because I have bipolar. The Julian Campbell Foundation do a wonderful job of helping youngsters, teenagers with mentoring projects, drama workshops and helping them with mental health issues. Recognising mental health, especially in teenagers, is really important because becoming ill at a young age can have an impact in our later life. My journey with mental health began in 2002. I started to feel very depressed. I had no motivation. I was losing weight, and at the time I was married. I also had a variety of physical health conditions that were impacting on my mental health. Initially, I went to my GP and I was prescribed antidepressants, which sadly didn't work. And from then on, I spent years fighting to get the right treatment. I was given various diagnoses, nothing worked. And I was so ill, and then eventually I found a medication that suited me and I was okay for a little while. Then in 2007 I suffered a major breakdown after being bullied in my workplace. I was managing a women's refuge and had a very pressurised job, which I absolutely loved, but the people that I worked with were nasty and they bullied me, and as a result I didn't leave my job. They dismissed me unfairly. They hassled me. I went off sick with depression, and instead of leaving me to get better, they constantly wrote to me, hassling me, trying to find out when I was going back, and then consequently they unfairly dismissed me. I actually sued my employer. They settled out of court. I took them to tribunal but was advised to settle out of court. But it wasn't about the money. The money wasn't going to bring back my confidence. It was the principle of the matter. So after this, I decided to campaign on mental health issues. I felt that something needed to be done to address stigma. And around that time, I became involved with a charity called Time to Change, which was set up to raise awareness of mental health stigma and to try and eliminate it. Sadly, that project is coming to an end on the 31st of this month. I've been one of their champions right from the beginning, doing events and raising awareness of mental health and stigma. I think that the most important thing that I ever did with them, and the thing that I'm most proudest, is when I went to number 10. I wrote to Gordon Brown, who was Prime Minister at the time, and asked him if I could come to number 10 to talk about stigma and mental health. I did not expect to get a reply, being that it was the Prime Minister, but about a month later I got a letter from him saying that the issues I raised were very important, and he'd like to invite me to meet his health advisor, Greg Bills. So off I went to number 10, telling Greg Bills all about Time to Change and the stigma that I'd faced. And I also said to him that one of the things that I'd noticed that was really important is that people, when they apply for jobs, on job applications, there's always a section that says, have you got a disability? Now, I don't mind disclosing my disability because I like to be protected under the Equality Act 2010, so that if reasonable adjustments need to be made, that I'm protected. But I explained to Greg Bills that people were being put at an unfair advantage. People with great qualifications or people that had all the skills apply for jobs and get turned back with indirect discrimination. I told Greg about this, and he said, and he agreed with me, that things needed to change. During this time, I'd been involved in campaigning with the charities Rethink and Mind about this very issue, and about 6 months after I met Greg Bills, the law got changed under the Equality Act 2010, stating that anybody who was applying for a job should not be asked any questions about their current medical health or disabilities prior to interview unless it was intrinsic to the job. This was a great breakthrough for many, as you can imagine. People now felt more assertive in what they're doing. I personally believe that when you apply for a job, you should disclose any disabilities, because as I said, you're then protected under the Disability Discrimination Act, which is exactly what I used in my tribunal when I took my previous employer to court, because they hadn't followed the procedures or the protocol to fairly dismiss me. But going back to mental health, I'm a great believer in honesty, and I believe that everybody should feel assertive enough to talk about mental health. But sadly, there's still people out there that are not assertive, and stigma still exists. The Julian Campbell Foundation is a wonderful charity, especially in helping young people find their self, deal with their problems and recognise things, and through their drama workshops they can express themselves. So, if you want to know more about the Julian Campbell Foundation, please go online and type in Julian Campbell Foundation. If you want to know anything more about the work that I do in terms of campaigning, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram under the name of Claudette Dorey, Dorey. My real name is Claudette Lawrence, but on social media I'm Claudette Dorey. However, if you would like to read about any of the things that I've done, if you Google Claudette Lawrence with a W, you should be able to find out quite a lot about me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy reading more about the Julian Campbell Foundation and mental health. Just remember that mental health or any disability does not define you. It's just part of you, and never give up in believing in yourself. Thank you for listening to this video. Bye-bye.